Hello, beautiful beings. Welcome to Soul Shift Messages. If you found your way here, trust there's something in this message for you. Understand this space is about growth, truth, and transformation. We don't bypass here. We don't sugarcoat, and not every message will feel comfortable, but it will be honest. I speak in flow, and that sometimes includes cussing. It's just part of how the messages come through. Take what resonates, leave what doesn't, and trust your own discernment above all else. Take a deep breath and let's begin. If you are new to this channel, please know that I create weekly content in 3 parts. Part 1 focuses on what needs to be revealed, and that sets the topic for the week. Part 2 focuses on what needs to be understood about what was revealed in Part 1. Consider it a deeper dive. And Part 3 focuses on what needs to be done, because awareness and understanding is only useful to a certain extent. Really being able to take action and actually embody it is really ultimately what allows you to move past that challenge. You know, I'm hearing the word mastery. So for some of you, once you embody it, that is the epitome of mastery over it. So, and I say all of that to say this is part 2 of this week's series. And before I head and dive into the message, I will post all the links to the content that is either available at this time. If it's not all available, you'll see in the description box that I will post when the next video in the series is going to be available. So it just depends on when you actually catch this video, but eventually all the links to all of the weekly content will be found in the description box below, and that way you can explore at your pace or at your preference. So let's go ahead and jump right in. I am calling this Why You Feel Stuck Even Though the Path is Clear. So what needs to be understood? And we are coming out of the gate strong, so what needs to be understood? You're not stuck. You're not stuck. You're delaying the inevitable execution. Part 1 made one thing clear. This process is not unfolding. It has already unfolded internally. Awareness has happened. Clarity has landed. Misalignment has been identified. I'm hearing this is not negotiable. Even if you disagree, I am literally hearing you are wrong. Again, this is not negotiable. Part 2 is not here to give you more answers. It's here to show you why, despite having all the answers, movement has not yet occurred. This is the breakdown of what is still holding you in place, how that resistance is operating, and why this moment feels intense, urgent, and difficult to sit in. Not because you don't know what to do, but because part of you is still negotiating with what doing it requires. All All right, so let's break this down. You're not confused, you're divided. Again, clarity is complete. There is no missing information. The decision already exists internally. You are split between the self that is ready to act and the self still attached to being thoughtful, fair, measured, and non-disruptive. Letting go requires releasing not just the situation, but the identity that processes instead of decides. Your mind is reanalyzing, systemizing, and adding complexity, not to solve, but to delay execution. You're revisiting the same conclusions, reframing the same truth, and explaining instead of acting. You're attempting to return to earlier phases, such as analysis, understanding, but the process is sequential and forward only. They want me to say that again. You're attempting to return to earlier phases, but the process is sequential and forward only. The decision is simple and singular, but being mentally expanded into something larger. I'm hearing some of you are making mountains out of molehills and they want you to stop. At the same time, clarity is becoming harder to sit with, not harder to access. Mental fatigue and restlessness are emerging because you are no longer meant to stay in the thinking phase. You are not figuring it out. You are trying to move forward without letting go of the identity that delays decisive action. Attachment disguised as responsibility. Emotional connection still exists. Familiarity and history are present. You are still operating as the stabilizer, the one who understands, the one who maintains, the one who doesn't leave abruptly. You're using emotion, history, and potential as decision metrics instead of reciprocity, structural balance, and sustainability. You're maintaining connection past its endpoint, softening exits, and leaving doors open. The imbalance is already established, not emerging. Continued participation is now conscious, not unconscious. I'm hearing you know exactly what you are doing. What you feel may be residual energy, not current alignment. It is not current alignment. Some of y'all are, it's past energy, but you're interpreting it as current energy. It's not. I'm hearing leave that shit in the past. And they're saying that is the only correct word to be describing it at this point. You may believe you need to earn the exit through full understanding or closure. Misalignment is showing up in small, repeated moments, not necessarily dramatic events. All right, so take this. You're going to know your story best. So for some of you, misalignment will show up in small, repeated moments. That is for some of you. For others of you, especially if you've been avoiding, like actively avoiding, like if you have already been clocking these small, repeated moments and you keep self-betraying, is how they're putting it. You keep self-betraying, like you know you should say no, but you're still saying yes, or you're still doing that thing. You are running the risk of some dramatic shit happening. Again, it's not going to be for everyone, but for some of you, I feel like if you've been, again, self-sabotaging with these small repeated moments and you know you're not supposed to, you may get upgraded to the dramatic event that's going to force you to act. I just work here, but you'll know where you fall in that. And for some of you, that's your warning, because that small repeated shit is still coming up. So that if that's happening to you and you're hearing this, you are on the path for the big bang. But if you address it in those small repeated moments and you address that in alignment with your truth and your greatest and highest good, you can get off the big bang path. Alrighty. What feels like responsibility is attachment to a role and emotional continuity, despite already recognizing structural misalignment. So again, it's not actually responsibility. You're not obligated to continue in that role, but you are obligated to get yourself out of that role if that is genuinely what you want. That's interesting. This group's in different, you're all in different stages. It's very interesting. I gotta interpret this multidimensionally. That's fun. All right. Processing has become a substitute for action. Thinking, reflecting, and analyzing is creating a behavioral loop, moving from clarity to hesitation, hesitation to reprocessing, reprocessing to relief, and then you just repeat that shit over and over again. This is movement without progress and proximity without crossing. This is straight up avoidance. And some of you have been doing this dance for a little bit, and that's why they're about to snatch the rug from up under some of your asses. I hate to say it, babies, but for some of you, your teams are just, they fed up with your shit. I'm hearing if you won't do it, we will. It is. They mean it. You are circling a point of no return. And I'm hearing they know you know this, and they understand that you are scared of what is on the other side of this. And they're saying the fear is actually bigger and worse in your head than what is actually on the other side of this. They're not saying that it's going to be comfortable or that you're going to even like it. But they are saying that you have their support. They will be there. And they're saying it's beautiful on the other side. They just need you to trust that they will have your back. Now, I'm going to be honest, I've been through some very scary shit in my journey. And you know what? Even when I really felt like I was falling, and I really felt like I was going to absolutely hit the ground face first, that never happened. Not once. That has never happened to me. I'm hearing faith the size of a mustard seed. That's really all it takes. And you don't necessarily need to believe in a higher power. You don't have to be all in on that. But faith the size of a mustard seed that you will not hit the ground face first, that you'll be caught. Processing creates a sense of engagement, effort, and progress without requiring change. And therein lies the problem. This is a loop of almost action, repeatedly arriving at the decision point and stepping back. You may be waiting for the action to feel easier, but that moment is not required. You're hovering at a threshold of irreversibility, which is the real source of hesitation. Some of you are really I can't tell you what to do. You know, it is your journey. We all make our decisions. All I can really say is, in my experience, it really was terrifying to let go of who, of that identity, because I really thought at the time that was who I was, and the thought of letting go of everything I had known up until that point in my life was genuinely terrifying. And all I can really say with my journey is I genuinely love where I've ended up, discovering this new identity, having, pieces of my genuine self that I'd kind of forgotten about, kind of peeking back in. So I'm not going to lie, it's actually been a journey of self-love, really stepping into recognizing and embodying this new identity. So I'll leave you with that. Just something to ponder. The required action is likely smaller, more immediate, and more direct than you are framing it. This could be one conversation, a boundary, a decision you communicate, or even one behavior stopped. You are not stuck. You never were stuck. You are repeatedly approaching an irreversible decision and stepping away, using processing to delay the crossing. And I'm hearing you already know you need to go. Some of you cannot carry the burdens anymore of the old rules. Some of you feel like the old rule is killing you. And I don't mean that literally. I mean that energetically. Some of you are very drained. You do have a decision to make. This is no longer emotional. It's structural. Alignment is already felt. Your body has consciousness, all right? Your body already knows what is complete and what is misaligned. You need to shift from emotional awareness to lived structural alignment. Your emotions are not your truth. What your body is telling you, this discomfort, that is your truth. The things in alignment with you will not force you to shrink, make your body contract, have you feel uncomfortable. Internal knowing exists, but your external life does not fully reflect it. Somatic cues, these are cues in your body. Somatic cues may include subtle resistance, lack of enthusiasm, or energetic withdrawal. Your energy has already detached. Some of you need to hear that again. Your energy has already detached. Even if your behavior hasn't. The discomfort you feel is the gap between knowing and doing. I'm hearing that's the feeling of self-betrayal. Has nothing to do with the situation itself. The discomfort you feel is the gap between knowing and doing. This is a material test. Alignment must be visible in action. I'm hearing nothing else counts. You already feel the truth. This phase tests whether you will align your actions with your body's knowing. Structure over emotion is the only way through. Emotions may still be present. Readiness may feel incomplete. You need to shift from acting when it feels right to acting because it is clear and necessary. You may still want softness, gradual transition, and emotional harmony. But this requires decisive action, clear boundaries, and visible change. When you act and release this unaligned stuff, you need clean edges, not gradual fading. I'm hearing things like clean cut, like a katana. Emotional detachment is not a prerequisite to action. Action is what creates detachment. The longer you delay, the more you begin to over-explain, justify, and distort your own truth. Self-betrayal. You are being asked to act cleanly and directly, even while emotional attachment is still present. I'm hearing be brave. Do what you know is right and stand in your truth. The old system is not alive, but it is still persuasive. The past still feels energetically present. It reappears as comfort, ease, familiarity, and it's not that bad. This presents the risk of re-engaging, reopening, and softening decisions. They want me to be so very clear with this next point. I'm literally hearing don't be a sucker. The final pull by the old system will feel pleasant, not painful. You may receive a real opportunity to re-engage, not just a thought. All right? This residual energy may feel like relevance. This is the last activation of attachment. I'm hearing this is not your truth. Let it go. Just because it looks good, talks sweet, tells you everything you ever wanted to hear from it, doesn't mean it's actually true. All right? This is not a sign of viability. It is the last attempt to reattach something that is honestly dead, decayed, dying. That's gross. They're literally showing me a parasite. If you don't know a lot about parasites, Google with caution. But parasites basically attach to a host and pretty much only detaches in two ways. One, it is forcibly removed, either by the host or, think of it like a leech, right? Maybe a leech is probably more pleasant to think about, right? You see you've got a leech on you, you can pull it off yourself, or maybe you have a buddy you're with who's like, yo, you got a leech on you, and they pull it off. So that's one way, and that's the way they want you to go. But parasites genuinely will stay attached to a host until the host dies. And then it will go look for another host. So that's how they really want you to look at this. That's genuinely how they're verifying that is how they want you to look at this. Either you can fall for the okie doke. I don't know who is using that statement, but that's for someone. You can fall for the okie doke and keep that leech on you and just let it slowly but surely keep draining you. Or you can remove it once and for all and set yourself free. The old system persists as an emotional echo designed to test whether you will re-enter what you've already outgrown. This is straight up a maturity and discernment test. And they said it is a test. Do not use another word. This is straight up pass-fail type of shit. There is a threshold moment, not an endless window. This is a finite and active window. The internal process is complete. You have already made your decision. Only action remains. The window is compressing and building pressure, and I'm hearing it is not going to let up. Do not kid yourself. It is not going to let up. There are only two pathways available. And I'm hearing, if you are listening to this message, this is for you. Don't tell yourself otherwise. The two pathways. One is self-directed action. You take the action. That is your initiative. Or you're going to get pushed into forced reactive shift. I have not actually seen the movie, but I think it's from 300. I am seeing that clip. This is Sparta, and the guy just absolutely fucking kicks the other guy into some type of pit shit. So yeah, either you can take the action yourself, or the universe is gonna, this is Sparta, kick your ass. And they just said yes, so there you go. The longer you delay, the more pressure builds behind the decision. This creates urgency, tension, and emotional compression. A trigger moment may come externally, and that's may, because if you actually decide to take the direction to take action yourself, you don't wait. You can avoid that. But if not, this is that spiritual boot to ass. All right? So a trigger moment may come externally, but it will only confirm what you already know. I'm hearing some of you are only going to be shocked. That's interesting. If you don't take that self-directed action, some of you are only going to be surprised when something happens, not the fact that it actually happened itself. That's all they want to tell me about that. But yeah, the event itself is not going to be surprising. It's when the event happens. That's interesting. You are not in preparation. You are at the execution point. This is a compressed decision window. Delay does not pause the process, it only intensifies it. This is an identity exit, not just a situational exit. You are leaving a version of yourself. You are shifting from adaptive, harmonizing, and externally calibrated to self-directed, internally anchored, and non-performative. This includes less explaining, less softening, and more direct truth. There may still be a gap between internal truth and external expression. You may still be filtering, softening, and delaying full honesty. Alignment is now measured through behavior, not awareness. I don't know if someone's been tuned into my channel for a little bit, but yeah, that is for this channeled message is for you. I'm hearing you got all the awareness you're gonna get out of me. You need to walk that walk. I have no more awareness to give you about this. You're not going to get anything else from me on this. Behavior, action. Some of you have had the awareness. I'm hearing some of you even understand it. I'm hearing overstand it. You need to act. You need to embody. And I heard if that channeled message is for you, you felt that in your chest. Don't lie to yourself. Woo. Alrighty. You are not just exiting a situation. You are ending the version of yourself that remained in it. That's why it cannot go with you. All right, the final message. Here's the recap and the takeaway. Clarity is complete. The process is sequential and nearing its end. The decision is simple, but being mentally expanded. Identity attachment is sustaining delay. Emotional ties are being mistaken for responsibility. Processing is replacing action. Your body has already exited. Residual energy is being mistaken for relevance. The imbalance is already known and observable in small moments. The old system will feel appealing, not obviously wrong. You are circling an irreversible threshold. The window is compressing with pressure. Delay increases distortion and internal tension. The required action is immediate and specific. I'm hearing you already know what it is. Relief follows action quickly. Alignment is now measured through what you do. And I'm hearing no exceptions to that. All right, that feels complete. So I'm going to bring part 2 to an end. I will be posting part 3 later this week, which focuses on what needs to be done, what action to take in order to embody this. So feel free to tune into that if you feel called to it. If you don't, feel free to take a pause. You know your journey best. You know your pacing best. Honor it. All right. Until next time, take care of yourselves, beautiful beings. Bye.